Good morning, Wind Chasers. Welcome to another episode of Chasing the Wind. I'm Pastor Mark. Remember, we are chasing after the Holy Spirit. That's the wind we're after today. So here's what I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you about patriarchy. Patriarchy. This is happening the week after the 4th of July. And so Monday, it was technically the holiday for me. And I was out golfing with a young feller in our church and one of my sons in the faith. And we were talking as we were golfing, and it was funny because, he didn't know whether I was a good golfer or not, and I hadn't golfed in 2 years, and I smoked him actually, but that's beside the point. I'm not competitive, he is, and he was like all intense about it, and he just kept choking. It was funny. But we had a good time, and I here's what I said to him. I said, you know what, Sean? I said, it doesn't matter who won or who wins because I said I've already won. I said for me it's just being out here with you and being able to hang out with you. Well, we got talking and he was talking about how he golfs with his dad and stuff, and I said that's a great gift. I said that I don't get to have. My wife and I do not have our own children. And Sean was so cool. He goes, yeah. He goes, Pastor Mark. He goes, you're out here with me. He goes, I'm one of your sons. It's such a beautiful thing. God's been good to me. A friend of mine also said to me when I was telling him about it, he goes, Mark, you have got to quit saying you don't have kids. You have plenty of kids. And my friend's right. If he listens to this, he's, he's going to get a big head and we'll have to grease his ears to get him through the door. But anyway, so I won't mention his name, Bob Benson. And anyway, shout out to Bob. So I've been pondering this a little bit. And is patriarchy, is inheritance, is our legacy about biology? The answer is no. To some degree, yes. I get that. But I'm one of these old softies who sees stuff on YouTube of stepchildren asking their stepdad to adopt them, and I sit there bawling like a baby. I just do. It blesses me so much, probably because it hits a soft spot in my heart. But here's what I think we need to look at, and I want to what does it mean to patriarchy? And I want to go to 3rd John. There's this little obscure letter that some even question why it got in the canon, but it did, and it's a good one. It doesn't even have a chapter because it's so short. But here's what this John, and it's believed it's a different John. It doesn't matter. John said this. He goes, "Dear friend, I pray that you may enjoy good health and that all may go well with you, even as your soul is getting along well." There's a good question to ask yourself. How are things with your soul? That's a Wesley question. How are things with your soul? It gave me great joy to have some brothers come and tell about your faithfulness to the truth and how you continue to walk in the truth. Look, this is the line I want you to pick up on. I have no greater joy than to hear that my children are walking in the truth. Now, this John is not talking about biological children. He's talking about his children in the faith. His desire is not, the inheritance that he is giving his children is not a monetary inheritance. It is not shall I say, a geographic inheritance. He's not giving them lands or property. He's giving them something much, much greater. And that is really what patriarchy is about. It's not about, oh, wow, what am I getting? I'm sure my nieces and nephews are not saying, boy, I wonder what Uncle Mark's leaving me. Well, it ain't going to be much, kids, okay? Here's what I hope I do. It was kind of cool. I'm going to just share this story. We met, it's been a year and a half since we had met with some of Sandy's family, my wife's family. And so we were able to meet with them in Ohio and have lunch together. And my niece and nephew joined us, and their 3 kids did not. They're little kids. And she shared a wonderful story. She says, they were in like this VBS thing at camp, and if you got to choose between meeting with old Uncle Mark and Aunt Sandy or riding horses at camp, guess which one you do? You go ride the horses. But here was what was really cool. My niece shared with me. She says, her oldest son, and her only son, but he's the oldest of the 3. She said when she said she gave him the option, you guys can go to camp or you can choose not to go today and go hang out with old Aunt Sandy and Uncle Mark. She didn't say old, but I'm just joking with that. And she said her son paused for a minute, closed his eyes, and she didn't know whether he was like upset or whatever, and inquiring about what he was doing. He goes, I'm praying about what God would have me to do. He's probably 8, 7. He's 7 years old, 8 years old, something like that. Probably about 8, 9. What a great legacy his mom and dad are leaving him. To learn to pray. That's the true legacy. It's not the stuff you leave. I have family heirlooms. They're not worth much, but only to me. Antique malls are closing because young people want IKEA. They don't want antique stuff in their homes. What is the legacy you're leaving? It should be the legacy of faithfulness. Again, what John says here, I pray that you may enjoy good health and that all may go well with you, even as your soul is getting along well. It gave me great joy to have some brothers come and tell about your faithfulness to the truth. That is the legacy. And I'm going to tell you, as a pastor, that is, not even as a pastor, as a Christian man of God, and I do it imperfectly, okay? I don't get it always right. But I hope that the legacy that I leave any of my kids is that he was faithful, that he loved the Lord, albeit imperfectly. So, folks, I want you to know today, they say that, parenting, it isn't about doing it perfectly. It's about being there and doing your best. And, Jesus will help us to leave that legacy that we need to leave for our kids, whether they're our biological kids or whether they're kids that God has put into our lives. So I'm going to leave it right there, Wind Chasers. What's the legacy that you're leaving those around you? So until next time, may you leave a good legacy and may you be faithful. And as the old song says, may those who come behind us find us faithful. Till next time, I'm Pastor Mark. Grace and peace. Keep chasing the wind because the wind is indeed chasing you.